We just watched Dune, 1984. It was a very strange uh, edition, this one. It's not one I've seen before, and there was a lot of little pieces cut out of it for all that was 3 hours long, or almost 3 hours long. There was a lot of little pieces cut out of it. Interesting movie. Now, I talked about the fact that the movie's based on Frank Herbert's book, Dune. And the movie in no way does justice to the book, and it couldn't possibly, because the book is so intricate that you like we were joking we before we watched the movie that basically they could turn it into a full on TV series and possibly cover the first book in one season, 20 episodes. There's a lot of interesting pieces in this. And if you've read the Dune books, you'll know the more intricate little pieces inside, i.e. the political and religious, the socio-economic factors in this book and how it plays out. There is the regular version that was played in the theaters, which is, like I said, an hour and 50 minutes long. That's the theater version. Then there's the director's cut version, but there have been several cut versions since then. The one I watched last week was actually a fan version. It was made by a fan. And it, as far as I'm concerned, is the very best one I've ever seen, by far. And I'm going to upload that onto UnFuckers Unite tomorrow, so that you guys can, if anyone who's missed it wants to watch it, or if you guys here want to watch it, like I say, there's some real interesting pieces that got cut out and left out of the movie. And the narration in this version was a little weird. The fan version really is fantastic, especially considering it was put together by a fan over several years. The Savior meme. Okay, talk about the Savior meme. Let's look at that right off the get-go, because the Savior meme, of course, is this whole thing. The chosen one is coming. The one, so we have the same thing, like you're Neo. You're the one that's coming to rescue all mankind, to raise them out of darkness, to bring unity to the universe. Now, if you've read the books, you know that that's not how it happens. Well, it does, but not necessarily in the way that Paul intended it to happen in the first book. We have this continuation of the whole Savior meme that just keeps continuously playing out in all these different movies that we've watched. Interesting, though, in the prehistory of this is, of course, the fact of how they get to where they are. And you notice when you watch the movies, there's no computers. It's very steampunk. And that's what we're just joking about. Oh, we watch this. It's like watching a steampunk movie, because everything has got that steampunk feel to it. It's like iron and metal technology, but no computers, no futuristic sci-fi really kind of technology is seen in this movie. And that's because, of course, that 4,000 years before this movie, there had been the revolt. There had been the takeover of humankind by AI and the robots, which overthrew mankind. And then after many, many hundreds, if not thousands of years of enslavement, mankind revolts and manages to win back their freedom. And in doing so, very interestingly, they put back into place a very feudal governance system with lords and kings and emperors that rule over planets that are dominated by the Landsraad, and they're given directorships of the Chom Holdings, which is all about the spice, and the Spacing Guild, and they're awarded almost like stock benefits. So there's like almost like a complete repeat, where as it's at the time of this movie, kind of 8,000 years in the future from now, it cycles back into almost this ancient feudal society where you have overlords and you have these dukes and you have these emperors who are the final say on everything. So that's really, really interesting. And keeping in mind that this book was written in the 60s, which puts it right in there with Isaac Asimov and his various series of books, like I, Robot. I don't know, maybe that's even another movie we should be watching, is I, Robot. What was the other thing I wanted to point out? Oh, there was another thing I was just going to say now. It's just come poof right out of my head. Um, the movie is interesting. I highly, highly recommend reading the original 6-book series. The first 2 books are not that long. The 4th book, The God Emperor Dune, is, I don't know, like 800 pages. It's huge. So it's not a light read. It's not a light read, but there's a lot of pieces in it. Political, religious, stuff about prophecy, stuff about social conditioning, etc. That is really, really kind of timely for right now, all things considered. So, and does anyone else want to add anything to that? Any comments, stuff that struck them in the movie? Because I had another one I wanted to bring, but it's just gone wiped right out of my head now.
It'll come back to you probably.
It's like after midnight now, so like I'm a pumpkin, and basically that's all there is to it. It's a good thing we started this movie an hour early, otherwise I'd have been in serious trouble.
I'm gonna have to watch it again anyway. So if you post it, on the site, I'm gonna end up watching it again anyway.
Yeah, you should. I recommend watching it again. Like I said, there's a lot of little subtle pieces in there, particularly in this fan copy that I've got. It's really well done. Yeah, it's interesting, and it's like I say, for me, it's very, very interesting, given the time frame when these books were written, given the other books that were written around this time frame. So again, like I said, Asimov, Robert Heinlein, Ray Bradbury. These guys were all the big names, and there are certain commonalities that run through their books that, given the time frame of being written in the 50s and 60s, it's very interesting that they are tackling subjects like artificial intelligence and machine consciousness. That was the other thing that I caught in this version that I didn't remember in any of the other versions, at the very, very opening narration. The artificial intelligence and conscious machines. Conscious machines. Arthur C. Clarke, another one. Yes, and so I've often joked on shows about the fact that these guys like Robert Heinlein were not from around here. You know what I mean? Like, the things that they wrote about were just a little too close, all things considered. And I don't know, maybe they're just really great creators and they've created what their creations are, i.e. the focus of these stories. Yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think I'm going to have to reread a lot of these guys now, like things like Asimov, a few of these guys, because it's been about 20 years since I've read all those books. Definitely worth re-looking at again. So what did you guys think of the movie? Other than the fact that it was really long. I think everyone's just brain dead at the moment. It looks like everyone's like,
I'm not even brain dead myself. I'm kind of just like listening to you and you guys, sort of waiting for a trigger in my own brain, because it's like, this people, whoever, you just said all these apparently brilliant sci-fi writers.
Hmm?
I just think there's individuals in this world, this 3D world, that are they're apparently on some, for lack of a better way to put it, some soul level or something. They're put here for that reason. Maybe they came to this role. They put in that
Yep.
role for that reason.
Yeah, like I said, they're not from around here, is what I keep saying over and over again. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I'm really, really glad you guys enjoyed it. Andrea, watch it again, the version I'm going to post. When you can kind of sit back and even have, like, when you have your own control, then you can pause things and go back and listen, because there's some subtle things that are said that are like, yeah, very, very pointed and really pointed for right now. Just little bits when we see the way shit is playing out politically at the moment. I mean, literally, it's kind of that same whole thing. You've got House Atreides over here and House Harkonnen over here, but the one pulling all the strings is actually the Emperor over here. It's interesting. Yes, very, very much so.
Yeah. Plus, in my case, it didn't help that my mind wanted to, race. I had shit going on in my head. I'm like trying to focus on the movie. Plus, I had to get up like twice to go to the bathroom.
I gave you an intermission time. We broke it into an intermission. Yeah, I know. I'm sitting here with my legs crossed at the moment going, I really have to pee too.
I had to go worse than I thought a few minutes ago. When you're like, I know my body, whether I'm high or not, I know my body. So you go in there and you have to actually urinate, pee, worse than you expected. And you have to learn to relax your groin muscles more, which I've learned.
Amber, thinking makes you pee. All that thinking, it makes you have to pee. Exactly.
Yeah, that's funny.
Well, guys, I'm going to have to love you and leave you because I'm really, really fucking tired tonight. I had a long day, a long, busy fucking day today. So we will be back Wednesday night for the Unfuck It discussion. We will have a proper Unfuck It discussion on Wednesday night. Oh, look at it. It's 12:22. There you go. So same bat time, same bat channel. North America, you guys just did the time zone change.
And now we're back.
We're back to 6 hours apart from between CET and EST. So it should rebalance out to we're back to the normal times. Except for those of you in Australia, I'm sorry, you're fucked. I don't even know what fucking time it is in Australia right now. I was trying to do the math and trying to figure out, because I don't know if you guys have jumped back or forward again. You guys haven't jumped forward? I don't know if you've already done it or if you haven't done it yet. So yeah, I gave up on trying to figure out what time it is in Sydney right now. But for North America and Europe, we're back to the normal times for Wednesday's show.
Actually,
I will put up a poll for next weekend's movie. I don't know what we're gonna do. We'll see.
For us here in the East, like in that Eastern time zone, daylight savings crap, whatever that's why like I said, the other night, it's like
fucking daylight savings time.
Yeah. So my laptop clock is 2 hours now behind the actual time, which is like about 6:30 here now, PM. So yeah, it's like retarded. It's retarded.
It's just totally a mess. Okay, darlings, I love you, and I will see you on Wednesday. And Star, your host.
Love you, D. Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Sweet dreams.